Welcome back to a Mirror Dungeon Duo video. Today, we're doing the House of Spiders, the Ring Nursefather Honglu, and the Ring Apprentice Faust duo. We're going to Extreme Mode today. I intend to talk a little about my setup upgrade and other stuff that's happened in my life in this video. Timestamps will be provided in case you wish to skip some of my yapping, but it would be appreciated if you could watch the entire video. This is actually my second attempt at this duo. If you want to know the reason why, please check out my Refraction Railway 6 video after watching this one. Also, quick self-promo, as of the release of this video, I've uploaded the raw footage of the gameplay onto my second channel called Kuarthree. I've linked the channel and the raw footage videos in the description. Just to note that I've not been sponsored or paid to recommend or talk about any products I mentioned in this video. I don't even have affiliate links to give you. And do you really think a company would sponsor such a small YouTuber? Also, just because I bought something doesn't mean I recommend it for everyone. I tend to overpay for overkill stuff. And another note is that all prices said in the video have been converted to US dollars. Also, I might get some details in the video wrong, so don't take this video as gospel. Always do your research. So, the first part of my setup upgrade is my monitor. Previously, I was using a dual monitor setup, a 1080p 60Hz monitor at the top and my 1440p 240Hz laptop screen at the bottom. A few days ago, I upgraded my monitor to 4K 60Hz, and that monitor costed me around $220. And now I have the screens side by side instead of up and down. I would show you a photo, but the screen is reflective and could show some details that I do not wish to share yet, or ever. I bought the monitor online through Taobao from Lenovo, but imagine my shock when this company showed up. Oh, sorry, let me get rid of this piece of paper. Let's be so for real here. They are very clearly trying to copy the name of another company, but somehow they also managed to copy another product's name at the same time. This is truly an innovation.
The F students are inventors.
The last thing I could upgrade would likely be my audio gear. My headphones are like the cheap $10 ones. I don't even know the name of them. I've been using it for years and it has served me well. The microphone I use for my videos are from the Apple wired earpods. It has a decent mic for $20, but it has caused me quite a lot of issues with plosives, which are the pop sounds you sometimes hear in my videos. And recently, the mic quality just went bad for some reason. Hey, quick update, when I was recording the voiceover for this, the mic had issues. But I re-recorded my voice a few hours later, and it magically fixed itself. So that's fun. I already bought a better microphone. Impulse buying? What's that? The second part of my setup upgrade is with regards to my Wi-Fi connection. A few months ago, I got the best plan the service provider had to offer, which is 10 gigabit Ethernet. And a few days ago, I finally got around to setting up my Ethernet connection. See, up until a few days ago, I was only connected wirelessly to my router. But now I have an Ethernet cable running directly to my laptop, which has a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port. Here's a comparison of the wireless speed and the Ethernet speed. I'm supposed to be getting around 2500 megabits per second, but a little lower is to be expected, I think. The download speed is about 5.5 times faster, and the upload speed is about 15.5 times faster. Yes, I know, this isn't 100% accurate, but I just want to get across the fact that it is much faster than what I was at. Now, don't get me wrong, the wireless speeds that I get are great. In fact, some people watching this video might pray to someday get the internet speed. But what I meant was it is small when compared to Ethernet. I went a little overkill with my Ethernet cable as well. I got this Ethernet cable from Ugreen. To explain why my choice was overkill, I'll need to briefly explain the rating system for Ethernet cables. Do note that a lot of details have been omitted. The rating system is called category, or CAT for short. Currently, as far as I can tell, Cat 8 is the highest end Ethernet cable available. The cables in your house are probably Cat 6, 6A, 7 or 8. The A stands for augmented. Do I know what that is? No. But just know that A is faster than their non-A counterparts. Cat 6 supports 1 gigabit per second, 7 supports 10 gigabit, and Cat 8 supports 40 gigabits per second. Gbps is gigabit per second. My internet caps out at 10 gigabits per second, and my laptop's Ethernet port caps out at 2.5 gigabit. So the cable can handle speeds about 16 times faster than what my device can support, and can support speeds about 4 times faster than what my Wi-Fi router can even output. Having Ethernet also provides a more stable connection. My point is, if you have a spare Ethernet port, maybe spend a bit of money on getting an Ethernet cable to plug into your computer. I got mine for around $22. Now onto something I find a little scummy about the internet market. See, this whole time I've been using giga or megabits per second. However, the sizes of data we see in daily life is usually represented in giga or megabytes. So the big and shiny 10 Gbps you see, well, that's just 1.25 gigabytes per second. 2.5 Gbps, that's 0.3125 gigabytes per second. And 1 Gbps, that's 0.12 gigabytes per second. That's a conversion of 8 to 1 for bit to byte. I suspect they're using bits instead of bytes because bits are bigger than bytes. A monkey brain likes big number, so the average unsuspecting and uneducated person would think they're getting 10 gigabytes per second instead of 10 gigabits. Though unfortunately, I don't think there's much that can be done about this, other than to educate yourself and others, which is what I'm currently attempting to do. Now, onto the third part of my setup upgrade. I got an ergonomic mouse from Ugreen a few months ago. The mouse broke after a little over 2 months of usage. I contacted customer service and they immediately refunded me. I then proceeded to use that refunded money to buy the same exact mouse. As of writing the script, I've been using it for about a month now. If it breaks in the future, I'll keep you guys updated. I suspect the first mouse breaking was just a rare and unfortunate occurrence. Okay, on to the fourth part of my setup upgrade, my keyboard. I bought the Dharma, I don't know how to pronounce that, the Dharma K556HE from, I don't actually know the correct pronunciation of this company's name. Most people pronounce it as Red Dragon, but if you look closely, or just look at all, you'll see that the company name has only one D. So it could be pronounced as Re-Dragon or Red Dragon. Anyways, weird names aside, the keyboard has a special feature called Hall Effect. I'll try to explain it, but some other people explained it way better than me, so I'll link some videos to that as well. Basically, on a normal mechanical keyboard, you need to press down the key a certain amount for it to actually register. However, for a Hall Effect keyboard, it uses magnets to detect you pressing down the key, which means you can change the actuation point, which is basically how deep you have to press your key for it to register. You can set it all the way from 0.1mm, which is basically just a light tap, all the way to 3.4mm, which is probably the full length of the key. This could be helpful for competitive games, where key travel time could actually make a difference. There's also this tech called Rapid Trigger, but that's way outside the scope of this video, and also I'm too lazy to research it. The keyboard I got maxes out at 8K polling rate, which is basically the amount of times your keyboard attempts to send something to your device per second. So 8K polling rate means 8,000 attempts per second. But having these many attempts also increases the load on your device. More specifically, the CPU if you're using it with a computer, which you are most likely doing. For older and budget systems, it can be a significant load added to your system. I've seen some people say that 8K polling rate uses up 20% of their CPU. But I do have a more powerful laptop CPU, which is the Intel Core Ultra 9275HX, which probably doesn't mean much to you, but basically it doesn't affect me as badly. And Limbus is a more GPU demanding game, so I likely won't notice much of a performance drop either. Also, you can just lower the polling rates if your device can't handle it. For this keyboard, you can pick between 4 presets: 1K, 2K, 4K, and 8K. And honestly, the difference between 1K and 8K is tiny. 1K updates your computer every millisecond, while 8K does it every 1.25 milliseconds. That's just a difference of 0.875 milliseconds. For something that takes up significantly more CPU power and providing no actual measurable advantage for most people. So, for most people, 1K polling rate is more than enough. Some people are still gaming on a 125Hz polling rate keyboard, which talks to your computer every 8 milliseconds, and that could make a big difference in competitive games. So if you wanna take gaming seriously, get a keyboard with at least 1000 polling rate. Additionally, I don't even play competitive games, and the games I do play, like Limbus, do not even need the keyboard to function. And if you're wondering, this is what the keyboard sounds like. So, what does this setup upgrade mean for you? Well, the first would be a direct upgrade in video resolution. I've gone from 1080p to 1440p, then finally to 4K. Fun fact, YouTube does actually support 8K video, but almost nobody is able to consistently upload at 8K yet. I do have some plans to mess around with 8K video in the future, so stay tuned for that. Having more resolution also allows me to zoom in more on stuff while preserving video quality. For example, this is Princess Rhodion's bosoms at 4x zoom at 720p, 1080p, 1440p, and finally 4K. Also, Limbus doesn't seem to know how to scale the size of your cursor at higher resolutions. Here's the size of the cursor at 720p, 1080p, 1440p, and finally 4K. Also, another fun fact. Did you know that setting the video's resolution to higher than your screen's resolution could make the video look better than just setting it to your screen's resolution? This is because there's a thing called bitrate. I won't explain what that is in this video, but I'll link some videos by Linus Tech Tips and Tom Scott in the description, so you can watch it if you really want to learn about it. But just know that generally, more bitrate equals better video with more details. When you set your video to a higher resolution, the bitrate of the video also goes up. You can try it out with this very video. If your internet connection is strong enough, try setting the video to 4K, then rewatch the video in 1080p to see if you can tell the difference. Oh right, and I almost forgot the most important part of the setup upgrade. My laptop. If you've been watching my videos for some time now, you probably know that I bought a laptop a few months ago. It's called the MSI Vector 16HX. However, this laptop has brought me great pain over the past few months. I'll recap the whole saga since I know most people watching are probably not long-time viewers. Around the end of March, I bought the laptop. After booting up the laptop for the first time at my house, I encountered a few weird issues that top-end laptops should never be having, like random crashes while simply browsing Google Chrome. So I sent it to the repair shop. However, the closest MSI approved repair shop is over an hour away from where I live if I take public transport. So back and forth will take over 2 hours, and I needed to do that journey twice. One to send my device there and once to bring it back. So after waiting over a week for the repairs, I was told that my laptop had a motherboard issue and that now it has been fixed and I can go collect it. Fast forward a few weeks, while I was doing some 3D modeling on a software called Maya, my laptop started making some very bad noises. I'll show a clip. The clicking and clacking you heard was another person in the room who was typing on the keyboard. But that almost industrial sounding whining is the sound my laptop was making, so I had to send it over to the repair shop again. Now I've wasted 8 hours on travel time alone, and also lost a lot of productivity from not having my laptop. The issue this time was apparently the cooling system, so they replaced it. As of writing the script, nothing bad has happened again, yet. If you've been keeping up with my posts, you would have seen that I posted about using Linux. I even got Limbus working on Linux, though I did need quite a bit of help for that. I won't go into too much detail in this video, since I plan to make a much more detailed and nerdier video in the future, so like and subscribe if that's something you want to see. I've been thinking about streaming recently. I managed to get some stuff set up in OBS, but I likely won't be able to talk since my new mic is not here and my old mic kinda sucks. With my old mic, when I speak with both ear-tips in my ear, the mic is very far away from my mouth, so I sound very soft. I could try to force the volume up, but then every little movement, like clothes rustling or keyboard clacking, would be amplified too. This ties back to me needing to upgrade my audio gear. However, a no talking stream would still work. So if you're watching this video a day or two after its release, I will likely start streaming soon. Probably sometime next week. I want to test out if 4K 60fps streams could work. I likely will just be streaming some Mirror Dungeon. Also, as of the planned release of this video, the video game called Deltarune has a new chapter releasing in just a few tomorrow's time. I'll try to get a video out the week after next week. Did you know I was a Deltarune fan? It's almost like I use Deltarune OSTs in almost all of my videos. I also have a figurine of Razer that arrived sometime last month. Another quick self-promo, I likely will be uploading my mostly uncut Deltarune Chapter 5 playthrough on my third channel called Kuarthree. I've linked that channel in the description as well. Now, time for Art School Sidebar Episode 2. In case you aren't caught up, I'll give a short summary about what this is. A few months ago, I got into art school, and starting from my 4 branch duo, I added a section called the Art School Sidebar, where I just talk about art school. This video covers week 3 to 7 of art school. I have an additional subject I took, which teaches me about how to communicate to consumers and potential customers. We learned how to communicate through social media by using attention-catching posts and how to set the mood of the post. We also learned about various PR events. For our exam for that subject, we had to do a 1-minute elevator pitch for a local brand to market towards a global audience. It's just make-believe, of course. We're not actually going to pitch this towards the local brands. I picked a local cookie brand and marketed it towards British people, more specifically their tea time, since they like to eat cookies during that time. Another subject I took involved 3D modeling. We learned how to 3D model using a 3D software called Maya. The exam involves modeling, texturing, and rendering this hut. I don't know why this is so overexposed. This is the lighting template that the school gave. I also got to write a short story for another subject, but the 350 word count limit seriously shafted my writing capabilities. The requirements are that I write a story about a character called Joey, but Joey stopped showing up to school after 2 weeks, and I had to write the reason why they stopped showing up to school. For my story, the whole plot revolves around Joey being twins with someone else, and that the Joey was actually 2 people, alternating going to school. Why were they doing that? Well, find out in the next video. I'm just kidding. The twins are alternating going to school because their family could not afford to pay for both of them to go to school. So they decided to alternate days to go to school and share the information they learned once they got back home. Well, once one of the twins got back home. This way, both can be educated at the cost of one. My original script was around 1,500 words. The word limit is 350, so I had to strip out so much of the story and now it just feels soulless. The characters barely have any personality now. Alright, that's all for the art school sidebar. And now, time to talk about the other art related thing in the video, the ring. I mean, yeah, they're pretty good status infliction and damage with a lot of AoE. I will definitely be using them in my bleed team. They managed to spam 10,000 damage with just one secret boss ego gift. Imagine what they could do with 4.
약지에 감긴 세 바퀴의 반지는 마에스트로가 되기 위해 인정받은 3가지 작품을 뜻하죠. 비록 지금 제 작품이 만인의 심금을 울리지는 못하더라도 여전히 반지에 부끄럽지 않은 작품을 선보이고 있는 것 같네요.
This was quite a lucky mirror dungeon run. I managed to get a secret boss, albeit at floor 15, so I didn't get much use out of it. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate your view. I hope to work YouTube full time, so please like and subscribe if you liked my content. If you have any feedback, please leave it in the comments or send it to me through my Gmail.